Which technologies have the most momentum in an accelerating world? Here's what I digged and found from a reputable consulting firm and gonna serve on a silver platter right now. This is top 10 tech trends that could be your next investment idea. Hey there, my name is Ken, here to talk about personal finance and investments. Make sure to trade the like button and invest in subscription to the channel. You're also welcome to support the channel, all the links are down in the description. As all things digital continue to accelerate, which technology trends matter most for companies and executives and investors? To answer that question, McKinsey&Co developed a unique methodology to identify the 10 trends most relevant to a competitive advantage and technology investments. They state that these trends may not represent the coolest, most bleeding-edge technologies, but they are the ones drawing the most venture money, producing the most patent filings, and generating the biggest implications for how and where to compete and the capabilities you need to accelerate performance. In the next decade, according to entrepreneur and futurist Peter Diamandis, we'll experience more progress than in the past 100 years combined, as technology reshapes health and materials sciences, energy, transportation, and a wide range of other industries and domains. I think we gotta pay attention to this and should make the most of these trends. These disruptions may be significant. Trend number 1 is next-level process automation and virtualization. The combinatorial power of technology fuels the first of the 10 trends, in which robotics, the industrial Internet of Things, digital twins, and 3D or 4D printing, also known as additive manufacturing or AM, combine to streamline routine tasks, improve operational efficiency, and accelerate time to market. And let's see how fast are these technologies moving. By 2025, more than 50 billion devices will be connected to the IIoT, generating 79.4 zettabytes of data yearly. Annual installations of industrial robots, which have increased 2 times to about 450,000 since 2015, will grow to about 600,000 by 2022, even as 70% of manufacturers will be regularly using digital twins by 2022. Across industries, about 10% of today's manufacturing processes will be replaced by AM by 2030. And why it matters? For an idea of the broad implication of next-level process automation and virtualization, consider that 50% of today's work activities could be automated by 2025, spurring powerful changes to the future of work, labor costs, and public policy. This will occur as robots become even more intelligent and capable. Production will gain scalability even as production lead times decline. This trend will shift competition toward capital expenditure investments in automation technology and toward the social, emotional, and technological skills needed as intelligent machines take over more physical, repetitive, and basic cognitive tasks, all while compressing value chains as companies use AM to make products and components closer to home. Trend number 2 is the future of connectivity. The second trend combines 5th-generation broadband cellular networks and the Internet of Things to enable faster connectivity across longer distances with exponentially faster downloads and latency reduced to nearly nothing, which is the time it takes to retrieve data. Far greater network availability and capability will drive broad shifts in the business landscape, from the digitization of manufacturing through wireless control of mobile tools, machines, and robots to decentralized energy delivery and remote patient monitoring. There were identified hundreds of use cases across 17 commercial domains, implementing the most promising ones in just 4 sectors. This is mobility, healthcare, manufacturing, and retail. This could increase global GDP by $1.2 trillion to $2 trillion by 2030. And why it matters? Super fast connectivity and internet has broad implications for organizations. It supports the creation of new services and business models linked to sensor-enabled intelligent products, yields new value chain offerings, for example, predictive services, augmented intelligence services, and creates the potential for companies to more seamlessly personalize offerings across channels and create heightened customer experiences. In mobility, for example, IoT sensors and near global coverage can help manufacturers capture vehicle signals, monitor the condition of each system in the car, and notify the owner to schedule repairs before a breakdown occurs, improving the vehicle's durability and lifespan. And here comes trend number 3, distributed infrastructure. The third trend brings together cloud and edge computing to help companies move computing power further toward the edge of their networks, enabling them to reach data-hungry devices with far less latency in a greater number of locations that are even more remote, and to accelerate decision-making with advanced analytics on demand. This trend will help companies boost their speed and quality and agility, reduce complexity, save costs, and strengthen their cybersecurity defenses. By 2022, some 70% of companies will employ hybrid or multi-cloud management technologies, as well as tools and processes which are the hallmarks of distributed IT infrastructures. This shift toward distributed IT infrastructure will be reflected by a rise in the software sourced by companies from cloud service platforms, open repositories, and enterprise software as a service providers from today's 23% to nearly 50% in 2025. If current trends continue, with the potential for this to jump to 80% if adoption accelerates. So why it matters? Business implications arising from this trend include the democratization of IT infrastructure, especially computing power, and a corresponding shift in importance away from IT capabilities towards software development skills and the talent it requires. Driving this shift is the move to more centralized as-a-service models of delivery enabled by cloud technologies, as companies abandon more traditional on-premise IT infrastructures. This shift also suggests new, more modular configurations of business organizations built around platforms of activities and technologies that target specific business goals, including digital transformation, new talent requirements, more system architects, for example, lower costs, and higher innovation. More broadly, as data flows into the cloud, barriers to entry fall, enabling strategic moves into adjacent markets as traditional sectoral boundaries continue to blur and ecosystems continue growing in importance. And let's make the next step to trend number 4, is next generation computing. The fourth trend reflects the rapid approach of quantum computing and neuromorphic computing, with the latter involving the development of specialized microchips called application-specific integrated circuits (ASICs). Next-generation computing could help find answers to problems that have bedeviled science and society for years, unlocking unprecedented capabilities for businesses. It also promises to cut development time for chemicals and pharmaceuticals with simulations, accelerate autonomous vehicles with quantum AI, and transform cybersecurity, all while reducing hardware costs in IT, quickening machine learning, and enabling more efficient searching of unstructured datasets. You ask why it matters? Next-generation computing enables further democratization of AI-driven services, radically fast development cycles, and lower barriers of entry across industries. It promises to disrupt parts of the value chain and reshape the skills needed, such as automated trading, replacing traders, and chemical simulations, reducing the need for experiments. Preparing for next-generation computing requires identifying whether you are in a first-wave industry, such as finance, travel, logistics, global energy and materials, and whether your business depends on trade secrets and other data that must be safeguarded during the shift from current to quantum cryptography. Other companies for now should continue to monitor this trend closely. Let's see trend number 5. It's about applied AI, artificial intelligence. This trend deploys AI algorithms to train machines to recognize patterns and interpret and act on those patterns, helping computers make sense of real-world data, including videos or images, using computer vision, text through natural language programming, and audio using speech technology. This trend promises to improve customer satisfaction through new customer interfaces and interaction methods, such as searching Amazon for products based on photos. More seamless human-machine interactions are also simplifying applications by translating speech, text, and images provided by humans to machine-readable instructions, boosting human productivity and lowering operating expenses. By 2024, it is estimated that more than 50% of user touches will be augmented by AI-driven speech, written word, or computer vision algorithms, while 1 billion connected cameras will collect and share visual data by 2021. I'm sure you know why it matters. An upcoming explosion in AI applications is set to augment nearly every aspect of human-machine interaction and power the next level of automation, both for consumers and businesses. Applied AI will further disrupt research and development through generative models and next-generation simulations. While any company can get good value from AI if it is applied effectively and in a repeatable way, less than 1/4 of respondents report significant bottom-line impact. That isn't surprising. Achieving impact at scale is still elusive for many companies, not only because of the technical challenges, but also because of the organizational changes required. And the trend number 6 is about the future of programming. The sixth trend relates to the rise of software 2.0, in which programmers are replaced by neural networks that use machine learning to develop software. It promises to unlock higher-order edge use cases like autonomous vehicles, where the only way to progress is through AI models. At the other end of the spectrum, Software 2.0 will also provide organizations with a far easier, more iterative and intuitive way to customize existing code and automate mundane programming tasks through low-code and no-code approaches. Software 2.0 will be further accelerated by emerging trends in machine learning that abstract away many of the difficulties and complexities that currently hinder the development and application of AI models. Why do you think it matters? This trend makes possible the rapid scaling and diffusion of new data-rich, AI-driven applications. The relative homogeneity of neural networks can also support new open-source libraries and are increasingly modular, as well as interoperable and usable across domains. That lowers technical barriers to entry for these classes of applications and gives deeper advantage to those able to source and refine the data needed to train these models through reinforcement learning, while Software 2.0 will let companies address a new class of higher-order edge use cases with less code and therefore fewer developers. Successful software producers will still need to evolve their talent, as well as their tech stack and development practices, such as MLOps, which combines infrastructure, tools, and workflows to provide faster and more reliable machine learning pipeline, which is very similar to how DevOps supports and enables better development of more traditional software. Their relationship with data will also change as data and approaches to refining data continue to further emerge as a valuable competitive advantage. Next trend is trust architecture. The seventh trend describes a set of technologies and approaches designed for a world of increasing cyber attacks. A world in which more than 8.5 billion data records were compromised in 2019 alone. These trust architectures provide structures for verifying the trustworthiness of devices as data flows across networks, APIs, and applications. Trust architectures could include distributed ledger technologies, DLTs, of which blockchain is one, and zero-trust security approaches to preventing data breaches. In addition to lowering the risk of breaches, trust architectures reduce the cost of complying with security regulations, lower the operating and capital expenditures associated with cybersecurity, and enable more cost-efficient transactions, for instance, between buyers and sellers. And why it matters? Trust architectures both mitigate risk and, for companies in certain industries, increase it. Cyber risk goes down as companies use zero-trust security measures to reduce the threat of data breaches. For other industries, however, strategic risk rises with the threat of disintermediation by distributed data ledgers. Companies will also need to pay attention to the shifting role of regulatory oversight. DLT applications don't always fit easily into existing regulatory frameworks and may prompt diverse responses from different countries and regulatory bodies. More broadly, growing cyber risk means overall cybersecurity spending will increase dramatically. The monetization of trust technologies such as cryptocurrency and super secure data rooms is poised to do the same. Trend number 8 is about biorevolution. This trend reflects a confluence of advances in biological science combined with the accelerating development of computing, automation, and AI, which together are giving rise to a new wave of innovation called the biorevolution. The trend promises a significant impact on economies and our lives and will affect industries from health and agriculture to consumer goods, energy, and materials. The biomolecules dimension of the revolution, which include omics and molecular technologies, has evolved as the fastest growing, most cutting edge of biological science, but biomachines, biocomputing, and biosystems are also important dimensions. Some innovations come with profound risk rooted in the self-sustaining, self-replicating, and interconnected nature of biology that argue for a serious and sustained debate about how this revolution should proceed. The rapid pace of biological science will soon bring competitive disruption, and not just in healthcare. As biological innovations penetrate industries such as food, consumer health, and materials, they are yielding higher margins in exchange for increased personalization from consumers and patients. New markets may emerge, such as genetics-based recommendations for nutrition, even as rapid innovation in DNA sequencing leads even further into hyper-personalized medicine and rapidly accelerated vaccine development. At the same time, the biorevolution's opportunities and risks require navigating not just competitive implications, but also ethical and even moral issues. Organizations need to assess their BQ, or biological quotient, the extent to which they understand biological science and its implications. They should then sort out the resources they need to allocate to biological technologies and capabilities, and whether to integrate those into their existing R&D or partner with science-based startups. Next generation materials is the trend number 9. Innovations in material sciences are at the heart of the 9th trend, as next generation materials like graphene and 2D materials, as well as molybdenum disulfide nanoparticles, nanomaterials, and a range of smart, responsive, and lightweight materials enable new functionality and enhanced performance in pharma, energy, transportation, health, semiconductors, and manufacturing. Because they have a lighter environmental impact, next generation materials will be critical for tomorrow's sustainable economies. While many of these materials are still in the research stage, others are closing in on their commercial potential. Molybdenum disulfide nanoparticles are already being used in flexible electronics, while graphene has helped propel a resurgence in 2D semiconductors. More new materials are on the way as computational materials science combines computing power and associated machine learning methods and applies them to materials-related problems and opportunities. And why it matters? Materials design and discovery hold a critical place in the 21st century economy, with broad potential impact spanning the transportation, health, microelectronic, and renewable energy industries. By changing the economics of a wide range of products and services, next-generation materials with significantly higher efficiency in many as yet untouched application areas may well change industry economics and reconfigure companies within them. What do you think the trend number 10 is about? It's about future of clean technologies. The 10th trend reflects new technologies addressing the rapidly growing need for clean energy generation. This includes systems for smart energy distribution in the grid, energy storage systems, carbon-neutral energy generation, and fusion energy. These new technologies will have broad application. They are power, such as renewables, clean coal, carbon capture and sequestration, smart grid and melting technologies, energy storage solutions, energy efficiency, and waste-to-energy opportunities, as well as transport, such as clean vehicles, electric vehicles, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and battery, as well as fuels and batteries. Another industry is about buildings and infrastructure such as automation, HVAC, windows, insulation, home energy management appliances, and LED lighting. And lastly, water, such as wastewater treatment and desalination membranes. As clean technologies come down the cost curve, they become increasingly disruptive to traditional business models, affecting both industry structure and competitive dynamics. Companies must keep pace with emerging business building opportunities by designing operational improvement programs relating to technology development, procurement, manufacturing, and cost reduction, and by grasping how climate change mandates affect energy costs and often the balance sheet of carbon-intense sectors while increasing the performance standards that accelerate the adoption of next-generation clean technologies. Advancing clean technologies also promises an abundant supply of green energy to sustain exponential technology growth, for instance in high-power computing. In today's video, we reviewed 10 trends, but I didn't talk about specific stocks because each trend includes a wide variety of stocks. So I'm gonna leave the stock picking to you. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite trend to invest, how did you like the topic and format overall. I'd love to know about it. Here are more other videos about personal finance and investments for you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video.